It's time for the Warm-Ups Weekly NFL Injury Report with American Orthopedic and Sports Medicine's Dr. Steven Stoller. Visit them online at drstoller.com.
All right, 19 past the 1 o'clock hour, as we do every week, as we bring in our good friend Dr. Steven Stoller with the American Orthopedic and Sports Medicine. And, of course, you can check them out online, drstoller.com. Give them a call, 201-261-2000, located in Englewood, New Jersey. A couple good injury reports to get into today. Doc, always good to catch up with you. How you been?
Except for this cold, Rich, everything's great.
All right.
How about you?
We're doing all right. So we want we'll try to get through some of these, and we appreciate you fighting through it. You got some good injuries, though. I mean, we'll get into Big Ben in a moment. Let's start with one of the big ones, and that's Jordy Nelson with the Packers, the wide receiver. Yes. Took a nasty shot last week against the Giants and Leon Hall in the ribs, and I know it was an illegal shot, knocked him out of the game. He spent some time in the hospital with broken ribs, and I know he wasn't expected to practice at all this week, maybe Saturday. What are the chances that he plays? And I'm just also wondering, what's worse? I mean, is it the fractured ribs or is it the broken ribs?
Well, broken is layman's term. Fracture is medical term. It means when the bone is separated once it's injured. A rib fracture is extremely painful because it's surrounded by a lot of nerves that produce pain, even with breathing. So it's easy to treat, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks to heal. But being that this is week 1, I don't think he'll be able to play, number one. I mean, they could give him a intercostal block to take away the pain, but if the fracture is together and he takes another shot like he did last week, he could actually puncture a lung and be in a serious condition. So I would not think he'd be able to play, and because it's the ribs and you have to breathe, there's really no way to immobilize it.
It's interesting. Mike McCarthy, Packers head coach, said, listen, the same plan for Jordy today as yesterday. He's making progress. We'll evaluate Friday, which is tomorrow. And you're right. I mean, that would be a huge loss. It puts more pressure on these other wide receivers because he had 14 touchdown receptions this year for Green Bay. So your thought would be, your recommendation is, look, you certainly don't want to put it. Let me ask you this. If he doesn't play this week and they win, is there a chance that he can play in the NFC Championship?
It gets better every week.
Okay.
And I'd have to see the x-rays, like, is it something where they're two fragments and they're not completely touching? Then I would say no.
Okay.
If you could barely see it, like a faint line in the fracture, then it may be a possibility. And also depends on his pain threshold. And even when you don't fracture a rib, like when you go out, you eat ribs, as a meal.
Sure.
There's like a cellophane material that comes off the bone.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, a lot of times patients will injure that instead of fracturing it, but it's still the same as far as pain tolerance. It takes the same amount of time to heal because what happens is that area fills up with blood, it irritates the nerve roots, and you can't rest it. I mean, except for rest.
Yeah. And
3 to 6 weeks, if he went, he would be able to play then, but I don't believe any sooner.
Big Ben, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, seen with a walking boot after the game last weekend. MRI showed that he aggravated an old foot fracture. He says he's going to play, no problem. It's not severe. I mean, again, for Steelers fans out there, it sounds like he'll be okay. Any concern with the foot?
No, not at all. What they're referring to is that he must have had an avulsion fracture, which is a severe kind of ankle fracture. And what happens is instead of the ligament tearing off the bone, the ligament pulls a small fragment of a bone away from where it originates. And that usually heals over time. In his case, I'm sure it obviously did. And when they got the x-ray, I'm sure that's what you could tell. you could tell the difference between a recent and an old injury. And I also heard he was walking around and even practicing.
All right, so Steelers fans don't need to get alarmed on that one. Again, a couple minutes with Dr. Steven Stoller, our NFL Weekly Injury Report with Dr. Steven Stoller from the American Orthopedic and Sports Medicine. Certainly visit them online, drstoller.com. You can book an appointment, call ahead for more information, 201-261-2000. A lot of great stuff on the website and a lot of services offered as well. All right, last one for you. For Seattle, fullback Marcel Reese status for Saturday's game, still up in the air. Now, again, I was trying to dig a little more with this. They didn't confirm. They said his foot didn't break. Now, again, the bottom line is he's a fullback. You want to say running back, fullback. Everything's hinging on the fact that you want to be able to press off the foot. You want to be able to move. You want to be able to stand. You want to be able to block and whatnot. Again, is this something where if it's not broke, maybe it's something that's severely sprained or they can tape it up, or he should be good to go?
From what I read, and you're right, it was very hard finding out any concrete, objective information on his injury, an X-ray, CAT scan, MRI, etc. But what I did read, that he was cleared to play this weekend, and he's been practicing since Tuesday, so he's pretty certain to play.
And listen, this is a big. I mean, if he wasn't able to go, I mean, you're talking about the lead fullback and a guy that's opening up holes for the kid Rawls last week, who had a $177 on 38 carries. So that would be a huge loss for Seattle. But you believe there's not going to be any issue with that one. I want to get back before we close it out real quick with the Jordy Nelson. So you're saying no matter what, you don't foresee, even if they made it to the Super Bowl, if they're going to err on the side of caution.
Super Bowl will be what?
February 6th, I believe, first week in February.
So we're talking about 4 or 5 weeks from now.
Yeah.
By the time we play,
because you got divisional championship round, and then you have the week off, and then you have the Super Bowl.
3, and this would make it
4.
4. I would say there's a chance he could play. There's a chance.
That's unfortunate too, because like I said, you take away one of their primary best receivers. I mean,
he's his go-to guy.
Sure.
And that could be problematic, but I don't know. The way Rodgers has been playing is lights out. So, you could probably put either one of us in, and I think you have the same outcome.
He's playing well.
Yeah, but which was the other thing was shocking was watching how many balls dropped out of Odell Beckham Jr.'s hands when he makes that unbelievable one-handed, left-handed touchdown catch.
And then he drops the easy ones.
Four in that game, which was kind of shocking because I'm a big fan of his, even though I don't like the Giants. But, that's kind of shocking. But, that's going to be a loss for them. But, they're a good team.
Sure they are. Yeah, you got some weapons again at Rodgers, and I think that game's coming down to possibly who has the ball last. I mean, I certainly can see a high-scoring affair in that one.
True.
So it should be a good one. All right, Doc, listen, I know you're a little under the weather. You fought through it like a trooper. Go drink some tea, a little echinacea. You'll be all right. We'll be good to go for the championship games next week.
Have a great weekend, Rich.
You got it. You too, pal. Take care of yourself. Bye. Dr. Steven Stoller, check him out online, drstoller.com, American Orthopedic and Sports Medicine. A lot of patient education, Q&As, testimonials, some good videos and good information.